Hey, what's happening, sports fans? Bellman and Kostrowski back again, DFS 5-pack. We're going to run through baseball first today and then hit you up with basketball right after this one. We're going to go through both videos for the public. We'll get into members only. We'll cover some overlay. We're covering the main slate for NBA, the 5-gamer. And then obviously really the only slate applicable for MLB today is the afternoon one. There is no real night slate to discuss. So an interesting schedule today, but we got double sports nonetheless.
The night slate is like the same. It's just the late games from the main slate, exactly, which is bizarre. Only 5 games on the slate today. Not the best one, but better than what we had like a couple weeks ago when we had nothing.
Amen. All right, guys, they got NBA and MLB contests up over on overlay. Again, you're sticking with the 5-pick shootouts for NBA. They'll get back to the progressive jackpots when the NBA playoffs come back next week, which I can personally not wait for. That is a prime time to make big money in the world of DFS is the NBA playoffs. As we're seeing this time of the year, a lot of people don't know how to adjust to the differences between regular season and playoffs, so we're going to be here to pounce and make ourselves some kizash over that. In the meantime, though, before we get access to that $20,000 jackpot, we got MLB and NBA up over here, and one of the key things to mention about overlay is the fact that they have this thing called the Slump Buster Challenge. If you play the same contest 20 days in a row and never, or 20 contests doesn't need to be 20 days in a row, and you never find a way in the top 10%, they'll refund all your money. And it can be tough some days. I know I finished with a tying record for the payoff cutoff yesterday, but my points weren't quite high enough to get in the money, and that can happen from time to time. It's nice to have that as a backup plan.
Yeah, that happened to me all over yesterday. So I feel your frustrations that if you play DFS long enough, that type of stuff will happen to you frequently.
Man, I was happy. I played NBA real light yesterday because I didn't trust what was going on, and my intuition was way off. So I was glad I played light because what I thought was going to happen did not.
For sure.
All right, guys. But let's get back to baseball, though. Again, day passes are up. You get both sports today. The other thing is monthly customers right now also get both sports, and we got football coming up. You get everything that's applicable at the time that you're a customer. So grab yourself a membership at the website link below. Hit the subscribe button if you're not yet subscribed to the station. Hit the bell for notifications. Thumbs up is always sincerely appreciated from y'all. And then let's get into some of the plays of the day. Starting off with pitching, you wanted to bring up DeSclafani. I have zero arguments at this one. One of the main things I'll bring up is the Pirates stink. They are 3-13 for a reason.
So, man, another slate with pretty weak pitching options. Really no one to give you the warm and fuzzies. You know, we got a couple guys up top that you can obviously take a look at. For my eyes, or for my money, DeSclafani, dollar for dollar, might be the top starter on the slate. You mentioned the Pirates are not good. I'll reiterate, the Pirates are not good.
Did you mention that the Pirates are horrible?
DeSclafani's been very good to start the season. He's got good stuff. This is a good spot for him. On a slate with weak pitching options, not a lot of games, only 5 games, only 10 arms on the hill. I would say 3 or 4 of those arms aren't even viable at all. It's hard for me not to at least take a long look at DeSclafani here. If I were making one lineup right now, he'd be in it.
Agreed. Speaking of the Cincinnati Reds, right now, one of the hottest hitters in baseball is going to be Jesse Winker. Hotter than a shot of fireball. He's cheap today. $3,500. This guy is 7 for his past 9 with 3 home runs, 2 walks, and stolen base. Absolutely tattooing everything that he has in sight of him right now. He's at home today, which is a great park for him to make that 4 for 4 with another home run. Not a huge sample size against Williams, but he is 4 for 6, so we'll throw that in our back pocket as one more reason to like him, besides the fact that he is dirt cheap and absolutely on fire.
I don't know if you saw much of the Reds-Brewers series over the weekend, but
he hit everything hard.
Yeah, he hit everything hard, and he also got called out on strikeouts like at least twice on balls that were not even close. And you could see that like really rile him up. Sometimes it takes something like that to get a guy going. He's hitting the ball hard. Yeah, he looks good here in all formats.
Yeah, he'll probably be in a good spot in the lineup today as well. This one's a no-brainer for me. Mm-hmm. Next up, speaking of cheap, is your boy Yandy Diaz.
So I've gone to Tampa the past 2 days, especially in cash games, and they continue to be just way, way too cheap. Not sure like what DK's algorithm is smoking. You already know I want some of it, but that goes without saying. As far as Diaz goes, he hits in like a top 3 spot in the lineup pretty much every day. Double-digit DK points the past 2 days. He's just a good overall quality hitter. He's not going to win you GPPs, but he is that cog in the machine type. He's got some power. very, very affordable at 3,100. He's just a nice filler piece. I don't think he's a must, but if he's hitting like leadoff again, it's hard for me to get away from him, especially in any like cash type game or smaller entry GPP.
All right. Speaking of hot hitters, a guy I ended up using a little bit last night. Didn't matter because I didn't play the other parts of my lineup right, but was Santander of the Baltimore Orioles, who's one of the hotter hitters in baseball right now. 79 DK points over his past 5 games with double digits in every single one of them. He's been hitting the ball hard to all portions of the field, so he's a switch hitter. He matches up with everybody. Good place for offense. And what I mean by that is in Philadelphia. You've talked about the warm weather there lately. It's a good ballpark for hitting home runs. Something that we talked about when we mentioned Eflin yesterday is this O's offense is not bad. They got a couple of guys swinging really nice bats right now, and leading the way is Santander at only 3,900. And Jake Arrieta has been all right to start the year, but I think we all know at this point of his career, he's more name than substance.
Yeah, so Santander was in my top lineup last night, had a nice lineup. It was one of those times it felt like everything was going my way. I had Sanchez and Clint Frazier go back to back. And then right when I turn on the Orioles game, Santander hits a ball off the foul pole. And at first the umps call it foul, and then they like gather and call it a home run. And I'm like obviously going real hype in my house. That hypeness got brought down big time back to earth the next time he batted because he laid down a bunt. I couldn't believe it. You talked about how hot he is at the plate, doubled in his first at bat, homer in his second at bat, then lays down a bunt. Man, that is very frustrating. But it goes without saying how hot he is. You mentioned 80 DK points over the last 5 games. His last at bat last night, he scorched a ball that was just right at the second baseman. He's seeing the ball really well, and we've talked about Arrieta a lot on our shows.
I watched more baseball last night than I think I have any other night of the season so far because I've been more focused on NBA, and I forgot how frustrating it is when you're watching baseball and just watching. It's why, and I wanted to bring this up today and almost forgot to, why we preach going contrarian in baseball, because like Hoskins, who was supreme chalk last night, first time up at bat, the Phillies lead off with McCutchen gets a single, and then Hoskins just lines out into a double play, and then Harper walks, and then Real Muto goes out to the warning track. So what looks like an easy inning for the pitcher, he didn't do anything right. It just happened that they didn't get any points because of where the ball was hit. I liked Tatis yesterday. The only at bat I saw, he absolutely lines out. In the Brewers game, this wasn't so much for DFS, but just for like more fun. The Twins score 5 runs without one really hard hit ball, and then the Brewers lead off with a ball hit out 2 feet away from being a home run, which is an out. Like baseball is such a small sample size on a daily basis with only a handful of at bats that going to like the 3rd or 4th best team, it makes so much sense just to get away from that ownership.
Exactly. And when you watch it, you really get it. I'm glad you watched a lot last night. This was a different type of frustration because the frustration I get what you're talking about. I was watching the Arizona-Colorado game a couple days ago. Christian Walker was like 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs and a double, and neither of the hits were he made bad contact with both of them. And his 3rd at bat, he lined out hard to the right fielder, and the announcers were like, "That's baseball. You get 2 hits with weak contact, and then you line out when you barrel up a ball." It can make DFS very frustrating, especially because like you're talking about, you only get 3 or 4 at bats. So that Hoskins line out, that's a quarter of his at bats. So hell yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's so small. And, in basketball, if you play a guy like, I don't know, an 8K point guard, let's just say you play Devin Booker on a normal day, and at the end of the first quarter, he's 0 of 9 from the field. You're like, that sucks, but you want to know what? He has every opportunity to go 5 for 5 from the field next time up and completely make that difference. In baseball, like a bad strike 3, like you had mentioned, and then you line out, well, that's half your at-bats for the day, and it's really difficult to score well. You have to hit a home run in one of your last 2 at-bats to have a good day.
Yeah, or you have to have multiple people on base, and you have no control over that.
Exactly. So there's so much that goes into it on a daily basis that's why the guys in the best spots still don't succeed that often, and why sometimes, fading chalky hitters can be a huge advantage.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you like Chris Bryant today as well.
Yeah, so I actually like the pitching in this game, and I wanted to reiterate to you when I mentioned Bryant that I wasn't looking to stack the Cubs here, but man, 4,100 Bryant, who looks like he's starting to get going again. Obviously, he's not having a great year, only hitting 196, but leading off for the Cubs at 4,100, this is just a really good price point. And while I like the pitching in this game, I'm not afraid to pick a Chicago bat or two against Brett Anderson, and Corbin Burns, who I like Corbin Burns, but Brett Anderson, Bryant will at least get one at bat off him. Good spot for Bryant here at just a very affordable price point.
Amen. All right, guys, that's what we got for today. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button and subscribe to the station if you're new to it. If you want the visual write-ups, or if you're looking for the actual members-only videos where we go through all the players and then you get our core group of players, go sign up for a membership. We'd love to have you join the team, and we'll hit you with some NBA here momentarily.
Thanks, guys.